Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm making a video to you talking about the shadow work that you haven't even heard about. And this is a different aspect about my spirituality that I've been delving into. Let's just say in the astral realm, I've uncovered the abyss. And it's something I've always known that was there, but I recently dived into it before I would never even, when I say the abyss, it's something you would think is evil when you find in the astral realm. And let's just say at the very bottom of the abyss, you find light. Now, this is something to really think about. Why do I pause? I'm just like, well, this is not something I truly expected. But there's fragments at the bottom of the abyss. There's fragments in the sense that, and when you do your shadow work, how can you tap into this? What's the easiest way to, and that's fireworks, that's not gunshots. I know it's Florida, but that's fireworks. So what's the easiest way to do shadow work? By using an obsidian mirror, a mirror of obsidian. The Aztecs and the Mayans used it. I believe other cultures used obsidian mirrors as well, but it takes you straight into the back of your mind, and you can expect nothing but nightmares, but they're not true nightmares. It's literally your shadow is made manifest into creations of what is working against you in the waking world, while in the sleeping world, it's just traveling with you. So when you start doing this level of shadow work, and there's some really cool secrets, you actually open abilities that you didn't think was there, and it really has me thinking. I'm just like, why haven't I delved into this before? I delved into it by accident recently, just by skimming the surface, because of course there's different kind of shadow works, and shadow work's not fun. This one's more intriguing, if anything. So you get an obsidian mirror, and you scry into it for about 10, 20, 30 minutes, maybe more, it's up to you. And when you go to bed, you get some form of nightmares that are not nightmares. It's literally like you get challenged. So why are you doing shadow work to get challenged? Like, why would I do this? Why? It's because it opens certain gifts that you can't imagine. It opens abundance that you can't imagine. When you come back to your body, when you fully come back to yourself during meditation, if you decide to leave your body, because everyone's meditation is completely different. Some people will do some form of astral something, but when it comes to you doing this astral work in the shadow realm, I just gave it away. When you're doing shadow work in the shadow realm, and is it evil inherently? No. What's evil is keeping aspects about yourself that is just holding you down. So let me get specific now. Now let's just say, and I'll teach you guys how to get through this as well. I might use some of my own examples, but let's just say your biggest pet peeve is someone when you're out in public making mouth sounds, and now you're having a dream of like you're stuck in a box with a person making mouth sounds, and you really face the mouth sounds because they stop bothering you as much. But let's just say that's just a small example, but let's just say you can't stand to have this person around you. Let's just say you've never want to have something ever brought up, and things will get brought up. So let's just say whatever is making you not happy throughout life every single day is something you'll actually fight all at once, and it's pretty intense. And when you do this kind of shadow work, you'll be looking around and you're looking at your angels. It's like, why are you guys letting this happen to me? Like, what? Why aren't you guys saying anything? And they're just like, it's for you to go through. And it's pretty intense, and it's just like, and your angel's literally watching you while you do it. It's just like, they're just like, because especially, I'll give you an example of mine. I remember, for example, a long time ago, because when I first started working with angels, people tried to stop me from working with angels. Can you believe that? And that was always stuck with me until very recently, until it was confronted in the shadow realm. So, and I'll tell you guys how to bypass that. So what was taught to me is that stay away from angels, don't work with them. They're very vicious, they're very ornery, they're very, let's just say they mean business. You better not talk to them or waste their time, because they'll get upset at you, which is not true at all. They love you like family. So, and then I moved on from that kind of teaching, and I started elevating, and I came around people who were just like, So they were trying to talk to me about certain, because in the spiritual communities you pass through different groups. So this pocket of people like, well, you couldn't talk to angels if you tried. You have to understand. And they were very convincing. They're like, you can't contact angels if you tried. They're just on a higher vibration. When you talk to angels, you're not actually talking to, you're not actually talking to angels. Angels are not really there like that. They're on a much higher vibration, which is not true. Psalm 91:11 literally states that God will send his angels to keep charge over thee in all thy ways, not some ways, all the ways. So in the shadow realm, I was literally put in a room, and the room was locked. So I'm in my astral form, and there's basically a lady from my past, and it wasn't even a lady I knew. It was like a lady like manifested as a being. So it's basically a shadow of a lady. So the lady had no identity or face. It sounds confusing, but things don't make sense sometimes in the astral realm when they do make sense. So, and the room was locked, and she's literally trying to convince me. She's like, oh, this person's not actually talking to angels, blah, 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 blah. And I've even asked my angels in the past. I'm like, I asked my angels, and this is really interesting. I'm like, what if you're not actual angels? And my angel's like, it doesn't matter what you have to say, because I know I'm an angel. I know what God made me. And I'm like, oh, that's quite a response. Like, all I need is God's approval, not yours on this one. I'm like, oh. Like, like, that's exactly what an angel would say. I'm like, because I've always been going into talking to angels and opening my clairaudience. Of course, I'm asking 1,000 questions. I'm like, are you guys spirits? Are you guys demons? And they're like, no, we're angels. It's like, okay, if you don't want to believe that was me a long time ago. Because, of course, leaving the spiritual community and different aspects of the spiritual community, there's just so many people talking to demons when they're supposed to be talking to something else. So in essence, I learned the difference of talking to angels, the difference of talking to demons, the difference of talking to spirits. So when you're talking to angels, they're very straight to the point. They're very I'm gonna say strict, but funny and loving. They're always gonna talk to you about God. When you have a lot of angels around, they'll always introduce you to other people of God. What else? When you have demons around, they're kind of messed up. Like, let's just say they'll make someone fall down and be like, ha, look at that, when you're laughing with them, when they'll do the same thing to you. Now, what's something else about demons as well? When you start talking about God, they get angry or irritable and stuff starts happening. And when you talk to spirits will just make stuff up. That's why you'll go to tarot readers and they'll just, some of it will be true and some of it's just like, I've never heard this in my life. Maybe it is true. And you'll go to another tarot reader, you hear something that's similar, but it's just like, it's its own story. It's because these spirits have to hold your attention and hold you down to be able to get a reaction out of you. Because the longer you talk to the spirit, the more energy you pay the spirit. Now, how does this relate to shadow work? Because I'm talking to you about my shadow work journey. Of course I'm looking around because I'm in that parking lot in Florida. And people carry stuff that looks like stuff sometimes. That's all I'm going to say. People walking through a parking lot with a bag of fireworks. That's not just open bag of fireworks. Okay. Whatever, that's not shady. It's 4th of July, right? Okay, I know it's Florida, but... Okay, back to the topic. When it comes to you guys doing shadow work, I mean, this was a scenario for me. So, in essence, in the astral realm, I got introduced to a manifestation of a shadow in what I call the shadow realm. The shadow realm, and what happens, let's just say if you skip your shadow work, if you don't do it, then let's just use an example from Harry Potter, a Dementor. So it vacuums you. It basically, as you get older, and you ever just see someone and they just look like they're messed up in the head, and when I say messed up in the head, you don't judge people, but it's like, okay, this person's going through a lot. Like what's going on here? It's like, is this person okay? And it's basically their shadows have manifested into the physical world as like a form of Dementor. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like a spiritual dementia, but they seem very off, and it's not physical. It's just like, okay, so that the person didn't confront their shadows, and it ran people off. It attracted bad things to them. This person has horrible beliefs. They have really bad energy, and you don't want to be around them because that's the shadows that have been accumulating. It's kind of like a growth. It's a growth of shadows. So in the shadow realm, after all this confrontation, and I've actually practiced something. I taught something I actually practiced when I was locked in the room. Because when you're locked in the room outside your body, it's just like looking at my angels and I'm just like, beetle. Yuck! I should have closed the moonroof. Talking about Shadow Realm and a massive beetle just fly out. I thought it was one of those palmetto bugs. And yeah, you can record my let's close this moonroof. You can record. I mean, you can keep that reaction, but that's the essence of Shadow. Because like, I don't need a palmetto bug, and palmetto bugs are huge, flying around or crawling all over my face, and I'll talk about the shadow of cockroaches soon too, because that's the thing when it comes to shadow work. It's gonna be like, what's this? And that's something about my story that basically falls out of the sky, but it's Florida, so there's insects and I'm under a tree, so there's leaves and beetles and whatever. At least we'll hit the moonroof now. But let's talk about an aspect of completely unexpected. That's why I closed my windows and moonroof and Verizon's in the background. But I was locked in this realm, in this room. So, back to what I was saying, because I remember now. Before that happened, there's something I taught about ridiculous. Is anytime you have a dark thought, scary thought, scary dream, you say the word ridiculous, even if you're out of your body, just like in Harry Potter, how I said Dementor, and there's actually a scene of when they have like their shadows coming out of the closet, and basically the most scary thing to the person would open out of this like closet / wardrobe, and it would come out and they'd say ridiculous, and it became something very ridiculous. Now the same thing applied is when I was in the shadow realm or astral realm in a shadow area, like something known as a pocket in the abyss, or just like because the astral realm does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense sometimes. Sometimes it does, but so people are like, get out the story. Well, I'm giving you the backgrounds to it before I get into it. But I was locked in the room with basically someone teaching, like, you can't talk about. You're not talking to angels, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, what is this garbage? And I'm looking at my angels in the vision. And I'm just like, why are you guys not doing anything? Like, why aren't you saying anything? And they're just like, it's for you to learn. So the woman kept talking. She's like, well, no one can talk to angels. Angels are not, blah, 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 blah. And she was just going on, like, just talking about angels, about how angels, just misteaching about angels. And I'm like, And she wasn't letting me talk in the pocket of the astral realm. And I'm just like, it's like a room. It's different. It has 4 corners to it. So she kept talking. I'm just like, and I said ridiculous. In my head, I didn't say it out loud, which it doesn't make sense, like I said. And instantly I saw her angels around her in the vision, and they're just shaking their head at her, like, and as she's talking about, well, no one can really make contact with angels. Angels are not around people like that. Because people do teach that in the spiritual community, just to get your guard down, so you don't have the defenses. There's other information about angels online that's just full of fluff. A lot of information is like, angels is just a vibration. It's not an actual being. They're robots. And like, they'll teach just complete fluff. And as I'm looking at her in the astral realm, her angels are just like, after I said ridiculous, you could see there's just a clear visualization of all her angels around her just shaking their head at her and just walking away. And it's just like, well, it is ridiculous, because her own angels are just looking at her like, what are you teaching? And in essence, that represented a shadow from my past, is that these people from way back then, when I was in the spiritual community, when I was much younger, would teach about, angels are not like, they're not what you think they are. Stay away from angels. It's just a vibration. Don't do it because it's kind of rough. And these people's angels at the time, which I didn't know until I went into that aspect of the shadow realm, or the astral realm, and the shadow pocket doesn't have a particular name. Let's call it shadow realm. And her angels are just looking at her like this and leaving her for teaching that. So in essence, when I came back to my body fully, I'm just like, ugh. Just like how the thingamajig fell from the tree. Just like that. It's just, I'm like, ugh. And I talked to my angels about it. I'm like, ew, what was that? And they're just like, you had to deal with a shadow. That was a shadow from your past. It was still there. It didn't get fully released. I'm like, but after all the shadow work I've ever done, they're like, yeah, it still pops up. So I went throughout the day today after that happened, because this happened very recently. And I've had such a happy day. I've been able to smile more than, like, I've been able to, like, you know, like Freddy and like Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm feeling good. Like, teeth from here to here, making new dimples. I'm like, yeah, I feel very good. And I've been having really good luck today, and everything's amazing. And I've been feeling uplifted, and people around me have been smiling very happily as well. And it's just everyone's more happy than usual, which says a lot. And I learned it's because I released a shadow, which when your shadow follows you around, other people can feel it as well. So if you'd like to practice this technique, you can use a shadow, an obsidian mirror to stare into for about, don't stare too hard, just stare lightly for about 10, 20, 30 minutes. Do prayers before and after. That's talk to God number one, to make sure you're not tapping into other things. So yeah, talk to God number one, do your prayers, then do the shadow work, and then you may leave your body or you may fall asleep, because it'll happen regardless. You'll still go there even if you're dreaming or even if you leave your body. Your angels are with you. It's not scary. It's uncomfortable. It's not scary. You might not be scared. It's just like, what is this? Why? And you'll see your angels looking at you like, why aren't you helping? Like, why aren't you pulling me out of this? It's like, what are you guys doing? You'll be calling out, you'll be talking to God, and you're outside your body, and it'll just happen. It's because, like, why is this happening? It's like, oh, it's because they're letting you get through something, so you don't suppress it, so you get through it. Like, you take a piece of paper and you pass it through a shredder versus you crumple it up and you throw it in the corner. It's you got through it. But if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. I have the best obsidian in the entire world at floridastoneman.com. It'll help you guys do shadow work just by wearing it. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.